How do you grade? How do you achieve glorious BIM?
Right.
Well, that doesn't turn out to be glorious BIM when there is even just one bad model.
Yeah, if there's some sort of miscommunication in your checklist, in your information, one bad model, unfortunately, can
you know what a bad apple in the fruit bowl does?
Can fault the entire BIM project. What's coordination if you're missing mechanical duct? The piping's fine, but there's missing mechanical duct, so we're obviously avoiding some clashes that could or could not have been there. So
coordinating around something that's not there is pretty tough. So how can we eliminate those bad apples? How can we go through a workflow that will help us to eliminate them?
Yeah.
Keeping it all in the same place is number one. So we talked about there having the opportunity to scope and also verify that scope by gathering the requirements and the deliverables in the same place. Really, really powerful step.
Mm-hmm. Simple model validation. So, being able to easily link what requirements and what elements should be tied together, just going through that process very easily would help you save so much time, but also not miss a beat, miss a beat, a checklist, an item.
Not just having them in the same place, but linked. But that's the power behind having one tool for this workflow.
Having the right tool set is important.
Having the right tool set.
Whether you can answer those questions, how can you grade something without a pencil or a highlighter
or a ruler?
A ruler, exactly. So having those tools at hand is very important to
being able to interrogate, take sections, take measurements, understand the parameters that are extract these elements as well. So this is a really quite cool one, being able to group similar elements together, take them outside of the building and be able to interrogate them in a group rather than disparate places in the building.
One of the best examples is I personally had to go through and review that every light fixture met those requirements, and in a building that's hundreds of lights, thousands of lights, this feature would have been really nice for me. Saves so much time.
Absolutely. And then being able to check information and understand, again, in the same location, what the requirements were. Okay, we needed the materials for the stringer and the tread. It looks like there was something defined maybe, and we needed to be able to check that. And starting to see more and more of that being automated to make that workflow super simple. And then when we have those tasks filtered for the teams that are involved in that model deliverable, going through that is actually quite fun to check these off, and they fly out, and then we start to see those elements that have been verified color-coded. So as we are filtering in this example for the architect's tasks, and you can see that the percentage of verified elements are increasing, and we can filter for those elements that have been verified or that are yet to be verified.
This really helps not just compare the model to what's from the requirements. As you go, you're verifying, you're also highlighting. Essentially, you're highlighting the model, what's been verified. But as newer models get added, newer versions get added, you might find there's new elements that need to be verified, and those would stand out very clearly. So having a way to being able to track version control is really useful in these cases.
And then we would not want to waste time of ours or our team members or other people around using deliverables with poor quality models. And so making sure that workflow of compliance, and we talked about the importance of compliance and the importance of having a very detailed but very clear and simple checklist, and then being able to go through these steps to validate that that has actually been adhered to before we publish the model is incredibly powerful and very, very important. So once we publish the model, you can see then it will be available for download. This is following the ISO standards as well. So making sure that we know there's work in progress, that there's a shared status, and then there's a published status that can only be accessed by certain people at certain times with that controlling and the privilege.
Yeah, and this really helps whether you're receiving a model to verify this or sending a model. So, you sending the model to a client, contractor, whoever that is going to be taking a look at this or using it, it really relieves a lot of stress off your shoulders.
You don't have to download and upload it somewhere else and keep a whole set of...
Just knowing you verified and you've stamped that, and that's a higher quality model that you've provided.
Yep, absolutely. And ask us about BIM 360 integration as well. So in conclusion, we've talked about the importance of having compliance, but it's really having the whole team be aware of the consequences of bad BIM, of poor quality BIM getting into that workflow and becoming a bit of a problem. And unfortunately, it sometimes can kill the team morale. That's one of the points in here, by wasting too much of people's time. So making it much clearer, making those final requirements simple and clear, being able to see the progress update as we go, and making that an integral part of your workflow, so that you can always publish a model that you have full confidence in and that you know is compliant.